Hey, what's up, guys? Back at another cold water fishing story, man. I just got on a roll telling these cold water fishing stories. And last time, if you watched the video a couple days ago about the tractor and the ice, I mentioned that there was a time that my buddy and I actually froze a battery in his boat. And that's the story that I was wanting to tell you guys. Listen, there was a buddy of mine decided one day that we wanted to go up to Grand Lake and go fishing in the wintertime. Well, we were so excited because the A-rig had really just came out, and it had only been out for a couple years. And every winter we'd go up there and we would smash them on the A-rig. Really cool technique, the way I'd find them and locate them. We'd graph around with our lives, with our side imaging. This is pre-live scope. Graph around with our side imaging. We'd find monster schools of bait, and I'd look for the hard lines in that bait. And then what we do is we get on the top of them with the trolling motor and the 2D, and as soon as our depth maybe 30 feet or whatever, as soon as it all of a sudden read like 9 foot and there'd be a hard red line on the 2D, we knew that there was, fish underneath that bait that we're feeding. So we'd back up real quick and we'd throw our A-rigs out there and slow roll them through. And man, we'd just hammer them. We'd have 100 fish days sometimes. Definitely catch lots of 4, 5, and 6 pounders throughout the day. But back to the story. We're so hyped and excited to go out there and catch these wintertime fish that, of course, we're not paying attention to the fact that it's like blowing 35 miles an hour. We're not paying attention to the fact that it's like 10 degrees outside. And we get out there, we back into the boat, and literally the boat like barely starts to try to crank over, and it is just dead. We launch the thing and the batteries are dead. We can't fish. I mean, the eyes on our rods are just freezing up. And so, do we go home? Do we give up? Do we quit? No, we do what everybody would do. We load the boat in that cold water, back up on the ramp without a battery, and we go to the hardware store and find a battery that we can buy. So we buy a battery from the hardware store, and then in the parking lot of the hardware store, we pull out the old battery, and put one in. Now listen, mechanics and guys that work on boats and stuff, they're gonna be like, yeah, John, whatever, your baby or whatever. But I'm telling you, man, if one of the hardest things that you do in life is with frozen fingers is do any kind of mechanic work. And pulling back then it was lead acid batteries, right? We're not talking about AGMs, we're not talking about the lithiums that are real light. So you got this 70-pound battery that you're trying to reach in and grab and pull up, and your hands are just frozen. So we fight, and we finally get that battery in. And guess what? It's a little charged already, so we're gonna go ahead and run with it. And we get it out the water, get it fired up. At this point in time, we've burned 3 or 4 hours of it a day, for sure. And we get out there, and we got the snot freezing to our face. We got the Dumb and Dumber snot freezing to our faces, and not just the first eye, not the second eye, but all the eyes in our rods. It was so cold, we're freezing up. We literally would watch the water and the wind that was pushing the waves, and would push up onto a dock. And then when the water came back down off the dock, you could see the icicles getting longer. You could literally, with your eyes, every time a wave would come, you see them grow and grow and grow. And that's, I think, maybe the first and only time in my entire fishing experience that I looked at my buddy. I was like, hey man, I'm done. We can't make this happen. So we loaded back up. I think we might have got a whole hour of fishing in, and it took our entire day driving out there, being broke down, finding a new battery, not giving up, bloodying our knuckles up, putting the new battery on, and just to find out that we just couldn't even manhandle it ourselves. So I know everybody's got their own fishing stories. I'd love to hear yours, especially your wintertime, man. We're sitting inside right now. I'm sitting in the office dreaming about fishing, remembering these times that I bared down and took on the bird in the cold, and had some amazing fishing stories. I got some amazing fishing stories this time. And that's one thing about wintertime fishing, is if you can tough it out, if you can go out there and bear the elements, man, you can have some of the best fishing of your life. I have always fallen in love with wintertime fishing. I don't know if you guys like it too, or if you're just hunters, but let me know what your thoughts are.